Have you ever poured your soul into something, days, weeks, even months of hard work, only to find it destroyed in a single day, by someone who thought they had the right? That's what happened to me. When I came home after visiting my sick mother, my pride and joy, my small but flourishing vegetable garden, was gone. Not because of bad weather, not because of animals, but because of my HOA president, the one everyone in the neighborhood secretly called Karen. She thought she was above everyone else. But what she didn't know was that her arrogance would soon backfire, in the most unexpected way. I had never been the type of person to start conflict. My name is Daniel, and I moved into a quiet suburban neighborhood hoping for peace after years of working long hours in the city. I didn't want much, just a little place to breathe, and maybe a chance to grow something of my own. The yard behind my modest house was bare when I first moved in, nothing but patchy grass and old soil. But I saw potential. I bought seeds, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and even a few herbs. I worked in the evenings after work, digging, planting, watering, and nurturing the soil. Before long, my little garden began to bloom. Neighbors often stopped by to compliment it, even asking for fresh vegetables. I happily shared. But not everyone was pleased. From the moment I moved in, the HOA president, Karen, made her dislike known. She was sharp-tongued, always patrolling the neighborhood with her little clipboard, making notes about people's trash cans or mailbox colors. She wore sunglasses even on cloudy days and spoke to everyone like they were children breaking the rules. One evening, she stopped at my yard, arms crossed. "Vegetable gardens aren't allowed in front yards," she said curtly. I explained, gently, that mine was in the backyard, and I'd checked the HOA handbook before planting. There was nothing against it. She pursed her lips and said, "Well, it's unsightly. I'll be keeping an eye on it." I brushed it off, thinking she couldn't actually do anything. But deep down, I felt a pit in my stomach. Karen had power, and she liked using it. Weeks passed. My garden thrived, and for the first time in years, I felt proud of something. It wasn't just vegetables, it was therapy. Digging in the dirt, watching green life sprout from the soil, reminded me of my late father, who used to garden when I was a boy. Every tomato and pepper carried his memory. Then, one morning, I got a call. My mother had been hospitalized 2 states away. I left immediately, locking the house and asking my kind neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, to water the plants while I was gone. I was away for a week. When I returned, exhausted but relieved that my mother was recovering, I drove up to my house, and froze. The garden was gone. Every plant, every wooden frame, every herb pot, ripped out of the soil. The yard was bare, with only clumps of dirt and broken stems scattered like trash. My heart sank to my stomach. It felt like someone had taken a piece of me and destroyed it. Mrs. Thompson rushed over, apologizing with tears in her eyes. "Daniel, I'm so sorry." I tried to stop her. "Karen came with 2 men from the HOA while you were gone. They said the garden violated some code and tore it all up." I argued, but they threatened to fine me if I interfered. I couldn't speak. Rage boiled inside me, but so did heartbreak. I had planted that garden with love. And it was gone. When I confronted Karen the next day, she smirked as if she had won. "Rules are rules," she said, shrugging. "Consider this a warning. If you want to live here, you'll need to follow our standards. We can't have the neighborhood looking like a farm." Her words cut deep. But what Karen didn't know was that I had something she didn't, a little knowledge of the law, and the patience to fight back. And so, the battle began. I spent the next few days gathering information. I took pictures of the destroyed garden, collected statements from neighbors, including Mrs. Thompson, and read through every line of the HOA handbook. Nowhere did it say I couldn't grow vegetables in my backyard. But then I dug deeper. I discovered something even more powerful. A new state law had been passed only months ago protecting homeowners' rights to plant residential food gardens. In fact, the law specifically prohibited HOAs from banning or interfering with them. My heart raced. Karen hadn't just been wrong, she had broken the law. I filed a complaint with the State Housing Authority, attaching evidence and neighbor testimonies. It took weeks, but finally, a letter arrived in the mail. I wasn't the only one who received it. Karen did too. She showed up at my door the very next day, shaking with fury, holding the official notice. You reported me," she hissed. I didn't even need to answer. The paper in her hand said it all. The HOA was fined thousands of dollars for unlawful property destruction, and Karen was personally named responsible for ordering it. For once, the smugness was gone from her face. Her skin turned pale, her hands trembled, and her lips pressed into a thin line. She muttered something about appealing and stormed off. The news spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. Neighbors who had once been afraid of her began speaking up about her bullying tactics. One by one, they rallied against her leadership. Within a month, a vote was held, and Karen was removed as HOA president. As for me, I rebuilt my garden. This time, the neighborhood came together to help. Mrs. Thompson donated flower boxes. A young couple brought over soil. Even kids pitched in, helping me replant tomatoes and peppers. What was once my solitary effort became a community project. When the first new sprouts pushed through the earth, I felt tears in my eyes. My father's memory lived on. My garden lived on. And for the first time since moving there, I felt truly at home. Karen avoided me after that, her power stripped away. She could glare all she wanted, but she couldn't touch me, or my garden, again. Closing message, to hook viewers at the end. Sometimes in life, people will try to destroy the things you build, not because they're wrong, but because they can't stand to see you happy. But here's the truth, when you stand firm, when you know your rights, and when you refuse to be intimidated, even the strongest bullies crumble. My garden wasn't just about vegetables, it was about growth, resilience, and community. And in the end, what Karen meant for harm only brought us closer together.